Hey everyone. Alright, I hope you all can hear me good enough today. I do have my both vent fans running in here right now. I am going to attach this and one other one that I've done. I'm going to show you all how I'm going to attach these to these wooden panels and what I do. These are just the birch panels. Oh, I don't even remember how much they cost. Somewhere around maybe $6 a piece. No, yeah, $6 or $7 a piece, I think, is what I actually paid for these. These are artist quality ones. They were a little bit higher than some. I think you can get them at Walmart in the craft section every now and then. So I looked and looked at tutorials on how to do this because I wanted something that would, stick down fairly quickly, but that I hopefully didn't have to wait 24 hours to dry or more because I'm just an impatient person. I am going to try this. This is the Elmers spray adhesive, multi-purpose spray adhesive. Alright, allows for repositioning, dries permanent, fast tack, dries clear, resist bleeds through, acid free, and photo safe. So I'm going to try this and see. It says even after it's dry it still remains tacky. So for if you don't want it to be a permanent bond, just a temporary bond. So we'll see. You only have like 15 seconds to make it a permanent bond. But my plan is to resin over top of these once they're dry. So I don't need something that can hold it up by itself forever because it will, have resin. And I'm actually going to resin the sides of this too. So the resin will be going all the way over the painting and should be holding it down good. I hope. We may find out in a few months what happens. Alright, so what I did first, I did coat my board. I painted it with Kills because that's what I had here that was white. So I just went around the top and the edges with 2 coats of Kills. And I taped up the underside of this one because I did want to get resin on the sides. But I didn't want to have to worry about having big drips underneath. So, hopefully this will help stop that. Just used push pins like you would put in a cork board to raise it up so that when I pour the resin on, it's not sitting flat down on something. So what I'm going to do, I'll give you a quick run through. Okay, in case I'm having to concentrate too hard to do this fast. What I'm going to do, I'm going to spray it with the adhesive spray. And then I am going to put this on. I'm going to, since this is totally straight edge and I have not, I haven't had to cut it. I know that it's straight. I'm going to make sure that I get 2 sides of it straight on here. So that then when the glue dries, I can flip it over and I'm just going to take an Exacto knife and trim off, I'll only have 2 sides to trim with it. So that is my plan. Alright, and then what I'll do this one that way, and then I'll do the other one, and then I will let them dry. This says dry in an hour. It says allow to set for an hour. So, but I'll probably give it, longer than that. So, but for you all, it'll all be on one video, so it'll be really quick. For me, I'm probably going to wait at least 3 or 4 hours just to make sure. I'm going to flip it upside down. I've got some just butcher paper here. I'm going to flip it, or not butcher paper, parchment paper. So I'm just going to flip the whole thing upside down on the parchment paper and then stack some books and things on top of it. I was digging out some of the girls' old workbooks and school books and books that they don't read anymore. Everything big and heavy that I could find right now to set on top. So that is, I have to, oh, there it is. So I've lost a piece of my parchment paper. That's what I'm going to do. But before I turn it over, I've just got this thing I was playing around on the other day, looking at some colors together that I ended up not liking those colors together, but I haven't wiped it clean yet. I'm going to put the parchment paper over this, put this on top. I do not have one of those cool little rollers. I actually forgot what they're called. I'm sure all of you probably know, but I don't have one. So I'm going to put this down on top with parchment paper between to protect it. And then I'm just going to take something, it's too sharp. I think I'm going to take one of the books that I got out and just use it to scrape over, just to, you know, help make sure that all the air bubbles are out. I did seal this with the Camar varnish. First, I did not seal it with UV. It's going to be coated with resin. I'm using art resin, which is supposed to be, you know, good UV protection. Hopefully for the painting and not just the things. But I did use the Camar varnish on this. One of the other reasons I didn't use my UV spray is because I can't find it. I have no idea what I did with it. I was sealing paintings yesterday and had it out. Actually, I did put one coat of UV on this. Had it out yesterday, and now I have no clue where it's at. The Camar got back down here, but the UV protectant did not. So I don't know what I did with it. Probably out in the garage somewhere. So, alright. So now I am, and I am doing this inside. I do not have a respirator yet. I am going to get one. I just can't decide what to get. I'm researching right now. I'm not even going to show you all this. You will laugh your heads off. I cut the sleeves off of one of Maddie's long sleeve t-shirts that she had outgrown, kind of a heavy t-shirt. And so I tied the sleeves together and made myself like a mask to go around my mouth and nose. Now that is not good protection, but it's better than no protection. So that's what I am using, because I am doing this inside. It's too cold to do it outside today. It's only about 30 degrees, and I did want to go ahead and get this process started so that I can get some of this stuff moved out of my way. Just trying to decide. Before you glue it down, make sure you decide where you don't mind losing some of your painting, or where it's going to center the best. Now with this is 12 by 12 graphics craft plastic, and this is a 12 by 12 birch panel. So, you know, I've only got just a fraction of an inch that's going to be coming off. So it'll be just fine, pretty much no matter where I put it. So, alright, so I'm going to pull my bandit mask up here. Make myself look really scary. And you all should be able to understand me fine through this. I look like I'm getting ready to rob a bank or something, I think. Her t-shirt's black. The t-shirt's black, so that makes it even more just, you know, I'm a bank robber kind of look. Alright, I hope you can understand me. Trying to make sure I've got this as tight as it'll go against my face, because I really do figure that, you know, even if it only blocks some of it, that's better than blocking none of it. I would not do this continually, but I am going to do it for today, and hopefully I can get myself a respirator before I do this again. I've made the girls go out and close the door to where, you know, they're upstairs, and I close the door to the rest of the downstairs so that they will not be breathing this, because this is not VOC free. It actually says on it, it just says VOC content is less than 30% by weight. Well, that's not good enough for me. So, but even if I'm still breathing some of that, you know, it's airborne adhesive. At least hopefully it'll catch, this thing will catch the adhesive parts of it, at least, anyway. So we'll see how bad this is. I may not even do the second one if it's really bad and is choking me to death. So, let me get this ready. Darn it. What I should have done if I was smart, I should have sealed up the sides of this with tape for right now, just so that I didn't get any of this on it. But it's supposed to dry clear, so hopefully it will be fine. Alright, now I'd already shaken it up really good before I started the video, so it's just, I'm going to keep it really low to it so I don't get too much of this stuff airborne, hopefully. And I am going over it heavier than what it recommends. It just says, you know, a light coat. Oh man, yeah, that stinks. Okay, do not do that inside. That stinks. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, that's really sticking down fast. Wanted to make sure that I got it. Ew, sticky, sticky. Right even with the edge. Yuck. This is disgusting. I'm going to glue myself to the painting, y'all. Alright, so there we go. Unfortunately, I got it on my fingers. Or on my gloves. So I can't use my fingertips at all with this right now. Now, the only reason I'm rubbing this as hard as I am, because I did seal this, so I know that the gold flake's not going to rub off easily at all. Ugh. Sticky, sticky. Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to try this and see. I guess the air's clearing out pretty quick in here. I don't smell it anymore now. Gosh, I hate to touch the books. One of their old Dr. Seuss books. They still actually, even at their age, they still like to read these Dr. Seuss books sometimes. They still think they're amusing. Alright, so I'm just going to do that. Try and make sure that there's no air bubbles under there. Make sure it got stuck down good at the edges. We've got every one of these Dr. Seuss like sets of beginner books for when the girls started learning to read. They loved them. They loved them and still do. Alright. Now, alright, just making sure, yeah, that worked just fine. I don't see any dents in there anywhere from the book. That's what I was a little concerned about, that it was going to dent it. Alright, so I'm going to, let's see, forget where I can put it out of the way. I'm going to flip that one right now. Nope, no baby, you can't come in. I'm spraying this stuff. Go back upstairs for now. Alright. Sorry, I'm just absolutely not willing to risk them breathing this stuff. As you can see, I decided to go ahead and speed up this part of the video, and there's another part later on that I decided to speed up as well. You had already seen me do this first painting, and so I was just doing the exact same thing on this one with spraying it and putting it down, but I'm so slow at doing this that I figure there wasn't really much point in leaving this part at full speed or regular speed as well. At this video, when I put all the clips together that I had, was just crazy ridiculously long, like 2 hours long. So I've been trying to speed up where I could and tried not to cut anything out so that you wouldn't really miss anything, but I did try and speed up some of the longer, slower parts where it wouldn't really make that much difference. So, all right, so yeah, you can see I'm just doing the exact same thing, and I'll be back with you on the other side in just a second. Alright, so I'm just going to pile some books on those and let them set for a few hours, and then I will be back with you all to trim them up. I'll be back shortly. Alright, I am back. These are stuck down exceptionally well. I was kind of picking at the corner a little bit just to see, and they are stuck down really good. I still went ahead and put my gloves back on just in case there was any tackiness anywhere. I didn't want to get it all over my hands if I could help it. I was going to show y'all real quick, just give you a laugh. This is my homemade mask that I was using a while ago, which probably didn't do any good at all, but at least it made me feel a little bit better having something on, not inhaling quite so much, at least of the heavier bits that are in the that spray-on glue I was using. Alright, so I'm just going to trim off the edges on this. I don't know why I'm bothering to line it up, because it's not going to make any difference since I have the edge of the board to go by. Although I am going to use this just because I painted the sides of the board, and I'm going to try not to damage them with the Exacto knife. Although I'm not sure I can even do that. It's not, I've got such a small amount of overhang there that I don't think that's even going to work. Whoop, yep, cut right into the wood. It's kind of what I was afraid of. Darn it. Yeah, see, I'll have to kind of go back right there. Just touch that up with a little bit of white paint and let that dry before it'll be ready to resin. I'm not extremely skilled with things like Exacto knives. I just don't use them much. As you can tell now, I'm trying too hard to stay far away from it. But you get the idea. This is, you know, just go trim it. Good heavens, I did it again. Well, one of these days maybe I can be trusted with a knife. Alright, let me see if I can figure out a way to protect my wood just a little bit there. I'm not sure if I'm even cutting it or not right now. Well, I cut my I cut the cork on the that was on the bottom of the ruler. Yeah, and now it's stuck all over the side of the painting. Definitely need some practice at this. So, next time, I probably won't paint my sides until after, because if I wait until after, if I want them painted, if I wait until after, I can just run over it with a little sandpaper, smooth it back down a little bit, taping myself to the painting. I can just smooth it back down a little bit. and then I can either paint it or varnish it or just leave it like it is. Oh man, that's bad. Okay, sorry about that little stop there. My phone started ringing, so I stopped to answer my phone since it was my daughter calling. Alright, so I am done cutting the edges on this one. I am not going to resin this one today because I did scar the paint on that in a couple of spots with the Exacto knife, so I'm going to hold off on that one until I can touch it up a little bit. Get back in there with a little more kills or something and just touch up those spots that I messed up with a tiny little fine brush. So we'll move on to my piece of gilded bacon here. That's just all I can think of every time I see this painting is a piece of bacon. So I may do something extra to it as I resin it. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, let's see if I can manage to do this one without damaging the paint any. One of these days I'll learn how to use an Exacto knife good, maybe. Because I'm trying to get it cut right up at the edge. And so, yeah, that one I stayed too far away from the edge. So I just run that danger trying to get that close because I don't want to have the painting overhanging any over the wood. Okay. I'm trying to wipe off a line on my mat right there, in case you missed that. Alright, so that's that. Now, I'm going to go mix up a little bit of resin. I'm using art resin, which is just a 1-to-1 ratio. And I'm going to go ahead and mix it up so that you all don't have to watch me stir it for 5 minutes. And I will be back as soon as I get that ready. Okay, finally got this ready to pour. I probably mixed up too much resin here, but I had a vase I can pour the extra on, so that'll be alright. And I think I'm going to pour a thin layer on this, and I'm going to go ahead and try and get some on the sides too. And then I think I'm going to go back and maybe add a few little sprinkles of gold leaf just out here in the white part. Let's see what it looks like. So I mixed that until it was perfectly clear, and then I mixed it another minute just to be on the safe side. I don't trust myself with resin, and better safe than sorry for me. And I am going to use my hand for this. I'm sure I will end up making a humongous mess, but the few times that I have poured resin on paintings before, like the acrylic things, it just seemed like it worked out much better for me to use my hand. I tried to smooth it out with other stuff, but I just don't have the like specialty type equipment. I don't have silicone spreaders and things like that a lot of people have, so that do this very often. Although, if I like the way this looks on my alcohol inks, I will probably be doing this more often. So, we'll just have to see. And I also did try to level this while I had the camera off. Although you can see now I'm scooting it around, so it probably will not be level anymore. I'll tell y'all, this has been one of those days where everything I have touched has gone wrong. I probably picked a really bad day to do this. Just one of those days, you know, I've bumped into things and knocked them over, and just every little thing. This last little break where I went to mix the resin should have taken me maybe 10 minutes tops, because I had everything out and ready. And, you know, and had my resin sitting in a nice warm water bath and all that. And it ended up taking me about an hour and a half, actually, my time, before I got back to you all. Even though it was just a second to you. Because it was just one thing after another, having to deal with or clean up mess that I'd made somehow or something. So, alright. So I didn't put that on there, you know, super thick, but I think it's kind of a waste to try and do it super thick anyway with one coat, because it's just going to run off the sides if you get it too thick. Well, you can put like make a little dam around the edges with tape and do it that way and hold it in some, but since I wanted it on my edges, I'll just do it like this. Just getting some little spots of stuff out of here that I see. I'm telling you, decided that I don't care what I do, I end up with fuzz in paintings. Although some of this is gold, little just teeny tiny bits of the gold leaf that has floated loose, even though I did my best to try to make sure that it was wiped off super good. Did not totally work, although I don't guess that's really going to matter since I'm going to sprinkle some back on it anyway. So I'll just leave it be. When I was mixing up the resin, I mean, it's been just such one of those days that I was gripping my cup so hard, stirring it, that it's a wonder I didn't break it, because I just was waiting for it to just fall out of my hand, because that's the way everything else is done today. Alright. Now I need to let it sit for a little while before I put the hair. Come here. Good heavens. Anyway, I need to let it sit for a little while before I put the gold foil on, because if I put it on right now, it's just gonna like float over top of this, and I don't want it to do that. I want it to stay over the white. I mean, I don't care if it comes over this gold here. I actually would like it to come over these edges of gold right here, but I don't want it to come over the pink colors any. So I've got to, you know, give the resin time to start getting a little bit thicker, start setting up just a touch without waiting for it to, not waiting too long and letting it get too dry. So I can pop a few air bubbles here because I sure did get them. And I won't be able to do this once I put that gold foil on there. I don't want to burn the foil. And yes, I should absolutely have a respirator for this. And I didn't even put back on my little bandit mask that I made. But I should have. Although with this, I don't know that my little homemade thing was going to do any good. Because this is what I am breathing in here is like all the gases. With the glue, it was not just all gas, it was that, you know, the vapor of the glue itself that I was hoping that the t-shirt material might filter out a little bit for me. Alright, so I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. If I can find a clean finger to turn you all off so you don't have to sit here with me. And I will be back in just a little while and we'll see if we can get some gold foil on this. I'll be back shortly. Alright, almost forgot to turn the camera back on. So, right now, I've just got a sheet of this because I bought some of this at Hobby Lobby last time I was there, the sheets, and I forgot that I was out of flakes, so I didn't have any flakes to put on here. I shredded up a little bit of it because I want some small flakes too. Problem is, I swear my fingers are still a little bit sticky with resin, so this is wanting to stick to me. When I came back in here to start working on this again, I had touched something. I don't remember what I touched now, but didn't realize that it had resin on it. Got it back on my hands again. Because I had managed to get it on my hands as I took off my gloves a while ago. I think it must be like some static electricity or something. It's attracted to itself. I notice if I drop it one piece, then the next piece wants to go like towards wherever the first one I dropped is, even if I don't put it that direction. Did you see that? It sucked it right over there. This may end up looking completely awful, but I want to try it because I'd like to know, you know, how well it works anyway. Since I've never tried putting anything like this on top of resin, it's a good experiment to make. stick together. Trying to be a little more careful about it because I want to get it a little bit heavier up in here, up near where the other foil's already down. Oops, stuck my finger in it. That'll be a mess. I'll have foil caked all over me, or my thumb. Anyway, what I want to do is get it a little heavier in here, and then, you know, little smaller pieces and less of it as it comes out. Trying to crinkle it a little bit. I liked it crinkled up some. I may be gold-plated before this is over. Not that it's real gold. All right, it is dry, and I am probably going to put one more coat of resin over it just to seal in the flakes that I put on it in the meantime. But the first layer is dry, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Sorry, you get a lot of reflection showing there, but I'm really happy. The resin really brought out some of the colors in the alcohol ink that had sort of muted down a little bit, so that I'm thrilled with. So I'm sorry it turned into such a long video. I had not intended for it to take that long, which is I should know by now that if I'm working with this gold foil that it's probably going to be a long one, because I am pretty slow at it. So anyway, well, I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm happier with this now. I, think that I probably got a little too much foil at the very top and the very bottom. I kind of wanted it to come to less until there was, basically just a few little spots. I got a little carried away with it, but that's all right. The whole thing's been a learning process for me, and I really enjoyed it, and I am happier with this. It doesn't look quite so much like a slab of bacon anymore, so I'm a little happy about that. So, all right, well, y'all, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will be back soon with another video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.